G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an EMR-1 pulse rifle. Also included is the Cryo pulse rifle. The difference here is it's got a bit of a cryo flavor and is powered by the cryo cells, whereas the standard is powered by fusion cells. This weapon mod is both aesthetically and functionally very similar to the Gauss rifle, all wrapped up in a neat little nif-bashed basket. You can see parts from other weapons that have been implemented on this, and actually it looks pretty good. A notable thing is how the Gauss rifle textures are being touched up to be almost chrome looking, which I think is pretty awesome. So let's play a quick round of spot the parts, because despite this thing being wrapped up in a neat little package, if you look closely you can pick out different parts of different weapons from a vanilla game. So we'll start at the back, and that's obvious. That's just a standard Gauss rifle stock, and below that you've got standard Gauss rifle pistol grip, which looks like the textures haven't been changed on that thing. Then above that you've got that sort of Nixie tube set up there, which looks normal now, but when you get up to 99, there's actual little skulls there, green skulls, which I think is kind of cute. So we'll have a look at that one when we get to it. And then you've got the magazine here that's replacing the 2mm EC cartridge box that you usually have parked on top of your Gauss rifle. And going a little bit below that, you've got a sort of foregrip section here from the laser sniper barrel that has been implemented rather seamlessly on that. That looks great. It also matches with the very chrome textures from the rear here just under the Nixie tubes, which is great. You can see the capacitor covers that have been utilized there and there, tucked underneath there, made very thin to fit the sort of thin setup on the barrel there. The barrel is colored with the standard sort of laser gun green, which I think is awesome. It's also featuring those little arrow pointers that you get with some of the laser gun barrels as well. And of course you've got these capacity boosting copper coils at the front to give it that Gauss look, and you've got a line of copper there, which I can't tell you off the top of my head where that's from. I want to say plasma gun, but I don't think that's correct. But yeah, pretty well done. Very good use of vanilla assets to bring this thing to life. These weapons also feature a little bit of customization, so let's get into it. First of all, you've got the stocks. We've got a standard wooden one. You can have the metal stock, which is recolored to match the chrome on the rest of the rifle. Then you've also got recoil compensating laser stocks, which is, well, is the same thing as the laser gun, and there's those arrows again. I knew I saw it on a laser gun somewhere. May have not been the barrel, maybe in the stock. There's also a recoil compensating stock, which uses the Far Harbor suppressor on the, what's it called, the lever action rifle as a sort of comb there, which I think is kind of cool. That gives us exceptional recoil. We don't have the highest rate of fire, but sure, we can cut down that recoil a little bit. I think that'll be fine. Next, we've got the rail types, which will just give you extra damage. You need a couple of ranks of science to actually get that to go, but yes, at rail type 3, you get yourself 489 energy damage, which is a problem. It's energy damage, which means it's going to be doing less, because Fallout 4 is bugged when it comes to energy damage, unless you get a fix for that, which I do not have at the moment, because it disables my ability to see the numbers peel off when I shoot things. Anyway, so apparently that's going to get us to slightly under 5,000 DPS. That's a big fat lie, so don't worry about it. That's probably a bug. And now you get the standard range of sights that you'd expect to see off a Gauss rifle itself, and most of these have the model of the recon scope, but painted a nice green to match the rest of it, which I think is very aesthetically pleasing. I used to use a Gauss rifle with a recon scope like this all the time, so it feels right at home. Now, talking about this thing's range at 280, you can definitely go for the longer scopes you can, because you're going to be holding that damage over a long distance. So yeah, feel free to put any range of scope on this thing, depending on what your playstyle is. It'll work pretty much with everything. Let's go for a long recon scope. Typically the recon scopes have a better field of view when you aim down the sights, so we'll use that one. Although, I'm wondering if this is going to be like a see-through scope setup. We'll have to see how that goes. Also, legendary effect provided by legendary modification. And on your cryo gun, pretty much the same. We'll go for that one. And then we'll have a type 3 cryo. You'll notice that the damage for the energy is slightly less, but you do get some ballistic damage to utilize along with that as well, which probably means it's going to be slightly better. It edges just ahead of it in terms of damage, maybe. Well, according to the DPS, yes, maybe, but maybe not. We'll have to see how that one goes. We'll leave the large reflex sight on this one. It's a custom asset. I don't think I've seen that one. Or maybe it's just a cut-off version of the 44 Magnum thing. Nope, it's definitely not. It's different. It's got a different reticule, so we'll explore that one. And of course, we've got a legendary effect again, but that's it. It's a cryo pulse rifle in our regular old pulse rifle. Let's start shooting stuff. I'll probably show you how to get them first, though. The EMR-1 pulse rifle and its cryo variant are available to purchase at level 10. I'm here at Clio's, and that's pretty early for a weapon with this power, but you'll notice how expensive these weapons are. That might be a limiting factor, so it's going to be a pretty big investment for a low level to get this, but if you do happen to get one, well, cryo cells that power the pulse gun are going to be kind of hard to find. They're pretty rare. Nothing really drops them. Fusion cells are everywhere. If you go through ArcJet systems with Paladin Dance, you can stand to loot about 40 million of the fusion cells, so I think you'll be fine when feeding this thing. Alrighty, here we are outside of the Immersive Gunners Plaza once again. Here is the EMR-1 in first person, just standard Gauss rifle animation, so you've likely seen them all before, but when you aim down the scope of this thing, you'll notice that it's a see-through scope, which if you're familiar with how the Gauss rifle works, well, they've gotten around it, but this thing, when you charge it up, the muzzle will actually push down a little bit, and after it's pushed down, it'll start vibrating just like that, which is going to make aiming particularly difficult, but they have given us a little consolation prize in the form of a tiny secondary dot over the main sight, which you can use to aim when you've got this thing charged up with a high magnification scope like that, and it's pretty dang accurate as it is as well. Near enough is usually good enough. There's actually a little bit of splash damage when it comes to using this thing, which is pretty great. The effects of the shot are actually pretty cool too. There's a little bit of alien blaster in there and a little bit of electricity, which sort of works with its pulse rifle design, so I think that works out pretty well. You've also got the cryo version here as well, which is a little bit more blue. Instead of the capacitors for the Gauss rifle on the front, it's got little cryo balls, similar to that which you'll find in Vault 111, which I think is kind of neat. For a sole survivor, a weapon like this I think is kind of cool. It's like a signature weapon, like a cryolator, and check out the Nixie tubes there. Like I was talking about before, they replaced the 9s with a skull. You won't be able to see them as it cycles through the 90s, but when it's fully charged up, you've got 2 skulls there, which is awesome, and there's your reload animation as normal. You may have noticed as I was shooting this thing that it casts cryo explosions. So it's pretty much like an RPG with a scope, but firing a cryo-flavored missile instead, and it's a pretty dang fast missile. If I fire it at the behemoth over there, I think we didn't hit him the first time, but when we do hit him, it hits him like a truck. But there's a little bit of travel time there, but honestly, it's fast enough. I mean, it's a big target to shoot at over there, but with the splash damage and the speed of the projectile, I don't think you'll be needing to worry about missing too much. And we'll have a quick look at these things in third person as well. So you've got the capacity boosting coil in the Gauss version here, and here is the cryo version. Very large weapons, but I think it works out pretty well, and it keeps the electric effects from the Gauss rifle and uses them in between the 2 barrel prongs there, so that's also really cool. And the outfit today is called Vitor Brotherhood of Steel Infiltrator Bodysuit. I'm gonna ask Vitor where the rest of it is, but that's what it looks like. Semi-futuristic, some of it missing, and in the back it looks like this. Now I'm wondering whether Ella's skin complexion is going to cause this to be flagged or not, because she's pretty dark. Maybe it's not quite as obvious for the YouTube bots watching this, but we'll make sure it gets a good look. Okay, we're going to be playing most of this video in first person anyway for precision aiming, but it's a cool outfit. I just thought, fuck it. Let's do it. I kind of wish there was more to it though, and wow. What the hell has happened here? Okay, I've got no idea what that's about, but now it's fixed. I don't know what happened, but we can begin now. We'll just light up a few of these targets with our recon scope because, you know, no one knows what the functionality of a recon scope is these days. And then we'll pick a target and we'll get going. So with this thing, you'll notice when we actually hit something, we're getting 3.9 times sneak criticals. So this thing, technically not suppressed. It doesn't really sound suppressed either. It sounds pretty loud and proud stock Gauss rifle. But we'll try to get ourselves some easy, cheap sniper kills as they're sort of moving in. And it does hit very hard. So I'm pretty pleased about that. But I just want to remind you that this weapon is available at level 10, so you can get a lot of power out of this thing. Sure, it'll take a couple of the science perks to get the full measure out of it, but if it's doing this good to sort of end game level enemies, imagine what it could do to lesser ones. Also, a good thing about your Gauss rifles and any sort of charge-up weapons such as this, if you use it in VATS, you can smash criticals and do that really fast, but every single shot is going to be rated as a fully charged shot, which means you can do a hell of a lot of damage. And we'll try to test out this splash damage here. We'll shoot the ground around him. 790 damage. It's pretty dang strong. So near enough is good enough with this thing. In fact, it appears to be mostly the splash damage that's causing this. So there you go. I think she's carrying one. Nice. Okay. Injected into levelers. Can find it on gunners as well. So if you want to buy this thing, find some gunners and I suppose I'll oblige. I actually think I see the projectile now. I didn't see that before, but in the shadowed area, you can actually see that projectile fly through the air. But let's go cryo time. Now I'm wondering whether I can actually freeze people with this thing. I've got the freeze effect on them. Make sure I step out a little bit so I don't hurt myself using this thing. See if we can bounce some splash damage. Well, that's something. No idea how much damage I did because the number didn't show up, but I'll take it. That's one cryocell for all of that damage. Compare that to how many cryocells it takes for a cryolator to do the same amount, and has launched a corpse into the stratosphere. That's normal. Yeah, hyper efficient. We're probably bordering on overpowered territories here. I wouldn't mind seeing how companions do with this thing because they act a little bit weird with Gauss type weaponry. Yeah, it's like a grenade launcher. It can play sort of that role even though it's not a really lobbing weapon. Whoops, there's a little bit of collateral damage there. Honestly, who's left? We could use the, well, this one. I was gonna light up this other person. Just make sure we don't stand too close to them as we're firing at them. But yes, with the reflex sight on this thing, we should have even better VATS efficiency. We can get many, many shots in. And the hipfire on this thing ain't half bad either, so could we possibly hipfire this person from all the way down there? Tell you what, we've seen quite a few of these. Normally when I install weapon mods, I mean maybe it's because they're distinctive, but I don't usually notice too many enemies carrying around weapons like this. And that's it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it, it's overpowered. Might ruin your game a little bit, break the balancing if you're worried about difficulty keeping you around, but definitely a cool weapon. And check out the skin textures, by the way. Got some new ones. It makes Ala look super realistic, man. That looks great. The backside sort of the same as well. Is this too much? This might be too spicy. Okay, let's do a little bit of VATS maxing for our next task, and we'll pop a fresh magazine in this thing. And then there's the Mr. Swan. We'll hit him up with a critical just to get these accurate shots happening. And then we'll just let them all rip as concentrated fire gets our accuracy up. It's pretty dang strong. And we can sort of backpedal and do this as well. If we go over to our reflex sight one and just hit him with these. And maybe go to third person. See if that makes it fire faster. Not quite. Just can't get the timing right. Although it looks like I'm on the very edge of this thing's effective explosive range or something, because I'm hitting him for chump change there compared to what we were getting before. So let's bring out the VATS again. Taking very decent bites out of his health with every single shot here. Can't help but feel that I'm a little bit outranged at the moment. But it looks like every single shot that I'm putting into him is applying a massive stagger. If it's staggering a big guy like the Swan, then I think everything else is going to be treated much in the same way. Solid 800 damage every shot for one fusion cell. It's crazy. Oops. With that one, no matter. I'll just go center mass here, I think. No need for heroics. Just guarantee it. Instead of reloading, we'll just whack out this one and try to tap him Getting a lot of shots going straight through him. Alright, one more. And he goes down. Okay, well that was easy. Should we try it again? Maybe we'll get a full sneak critical run. That might be easy. Okay, Mr. Ghoul may have found himself some friends over there. I don't really give a shit about that because, well, if he stands too close to him, I'm going to catch him with the splash damage. So let's hit him up. Don't think I'm getting any sneak criticals with this because he's aggroed to that mosquito over there. But they're witness to all of this. Doesn't look like it's got the freezing effect on board. Whoops, totally went for that insect and not that ghoul then. This is just a standard Gauss rifle sight. The big one, I think, works a little bit better if I switch over to this one. Now, let's give him a full measure of that pain. Not really that much else to it. This thing is kind of crushing everything that I pointed at. And another stagger for Mr. Ghoul over there. Make sure we don't get too close to him. One more should do it. Okay, that was easy. Kind of the theme for the entire video. The pulse rifle is making pretty much everything easy. Okay, this weapon's got the power, so we'll go the old double header in the GWS Glowing Sea. Now, we'll go and activate a gun through streak if we can. Yep, that seems to have done the trick if I just hit up that guy behind him. Make sure I press Q and not click because I'll switch targets. And then we'll use the rest of these guaranteed crits on this guy. Alright, I think we've saved ourselves a couple of shots from that, so that's great. And look at that. Look at that damage. I think these are all sneak criticals as well. Just crushing him. Unfortunately, he's found me at this point. The question is, do we stagger him in amongst that gigantic explosion? Can't really see. And from the sunlight and the explosion, he emerges again. And the mysterious stranger shows up with a weapon that I didn't even see. Okay, well, we'll explore what he's wielding a little bit later if we happen to get him. Because we've got a couple of surprises there. Okay, what have we got down here? Blood bugs. I want to get a nice target on the big one though, so I have to creep a little bit closer. Not quite there. Okay, at this point, it should work, right? Yes. So we'll hit up this one. Now we should be getting all criticals against this guy. A good 4 or 5 criticals on him, which is going to be super helpful if they land. Good start. Very, very good start indeed. Should be getting sneak criticals as well. Now, we'll play this a little bit like a guerrilla warfare because this guy, although this weapon's DPS is good, it's not quite as good as what he can dish up. So we'll have to do this a little bit cautiously. Play more of a sneaky sniper build role thing. And if we can get their attention just by hitting some ground underneath him, that's done pretty well. And now I think we can probably capitalize on this apparent sneak critic nonsense. Oh, okay. He wasn't previously mutated. Okay, we're doing pretty well. Mysterious stranger. Oh, standard gun. I saw him with a pistol before. I'm gonna make sure I actually installed the mod that I'm thinking of. Okay. The trouble is that sometimes I can't see him like this. Ow. Oh. Okay, we got him. Oh, it also disintegrates them. Should make sense. Okay, well, that got close. One more hit and I would have been dead, and I think he was charging in for that hit. But I think you get the idea. So that there was the pulse gun, pulse rifle. And honestly, it's really strong. It's really fun. Probably, you could argue, a little bit too strong in some cases. But I do think it's a pretty fun weapon. Ooh, I can dig him out of the thing with that. That's helpful. But it's a pretty lightweight weapon mod. I think it's creative, utilizing the vanilla assets to create something new that sort of feels distinct. Even though functionally it's a Gauss rifle, it still feels different enough from the Gauss rifle to sort of distinguish itself. So that's pretty good. Also, this clothing mod is on the Nexus too, so look out for that one. The colors that you see right now, they're just retextures from a Patreon page exclusive. So if you want to get the red, then well, you gotta cough up some of that dollary dues. Anyways, if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.